When we talk about the colonization of Africa, the story is almost always told from the European point of view, right? It's all about explorers and treaties and conquest, and Africa is just kind of there, the backdrop. But what if we flip that script entirely? In this explainer, we're going to dive into the work of historian A. Adu-Bohin to see this whole era through African eyes. And you'll see it wasn't a passive time at all, but a period of really dynamic responses, complex strategies, and active resistance. So let's start by rewinding the clock a bit to see what Africa was really like before the scramble even began. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll set the stage. What was Africa like right before the big scramble? Then we'll get into the European conquest itself. Part 3, and this is the crucial part, will cover the African initiatives and responses. After that, we'll look at how the colonial system actually worked on the ground, and we'll wrap it all up by assessing its lasting impact. All right, let's do it. Let's rewind the clock. The year is 1880. The so-called Scramble for Africa is literally right around the corner. To really get what happened next, we first have to understand the continent on the eve of this colossal event. And this forces us to ask a really fundamental question. What was the reality on the ground? I mean, for centuries, the popular image was of a continent just stuck in time. But oh man, the historical record tells a completely different story. Yeah, that old narrative, the one a lot of us probably heard in school, paints this picture of a static, dark continent just waiting to be discovered. But the reality, as all the sources show, it was the exact opposite. It was a continent that was absolutely buzzing with change and revolution. Just take a look at this map. This is Africa in 1880. It is not an empty space. It's a continent of established states, of kingdoms, of empires. We're talking the Sokoto Caliphate, Ethiopia, the Zulu Kingdom, and so many others. Bohan is super clear on this. The vast majority of these states were sovereign, and their rulers were fully in control of their own destinies. And listen, this wasn't a static world. It was a continent in the middle of some really profound changes. You had the slave trade being replaced by this vibrant trade in things like palm oil and cocoa, which created a whole new class of African entrepreneurs. Politically, states were becoming more centralized, and, this is critical, a new Western-educated elite was starting to emerge, totally ready to engage with the rest of the world on their own terms. So, into this dynamic, evolving continent, a new, aggressive phase of European expansion just explodes onto the scene. And this is the period that would completely redraw the map and change the course of history for millions of people. So what exactly was the Scramble for Africa? Well, it refers to this incredibly short and intense period. We're talking just 2 decades, where European powers were in a mad dash to claim territory. They ended up partitioning almost the entire continent among themselves. I mean, think about it. In 1880, European